Welcome back to What Arty Noobs. This is the AMX M4 54. It's a tier 10 French heavy. It's located on the north spawn of Pilsen, and this one is under the command of Oxagon of ENJ0Y. Now, a lot of people have been sending in replays with the AMX M4 54 recently, and so we've got a long line of them to do, but some of them are double features. Okay, game on. Well, I think you can see straight away that Oxagon's loaded nothing but premium rounds and a couple of AG rounds just for good measure into his tank. 13cm gun, 560 output, 296mm of pen. With the standard rounds, it's only 250mm. And he's got a reasonably fast fire rate. I think he was on autopilot there. Yeah, he wasn't looking where he was going. Probably busy on other things at the moment. A lot of players are actually using or playing music or other things whilst they're driving at the start of battles, or they're texting or sending messages, and then they drive into objects and suddenly realise, oops, that's a bit careless, but there you go. Okay, he's decided to fight this one out in the factories. One of the enemy tanks is already in place, and it happens to be the other M454. But there's two of them. First shot goes in, didn't pen. Now there are spots on the front of an M454 you can pen. It's on the shoulders, and he's aiming directly for those spots right now. And there's your first pen, 564. Now remember, I did say that the out is 560, so that was a high roll. Goes through the front there of the other AMX M454. He must have been lucky there, because that's very difficult. And he got another 564 as well. Well, the rear of that M454 took a round as well, but it was a much higher roll this time, 573. Now, all Arty managed to dodge the shot because it came in from a GW Tiger. This is a tier 10 game with tier 9 tanks in it. He was trying a quick shot at the mouse. He did get it, but only 524 this time, so it's a low roll. He's loaded, ready to go. Standard reload is 15.15 seconds, and he did damage the Skoda T50 for 550, a low roll. Okay, this is going to be fun. Go for the weak spots. He actually managed to pen on that one. Of course, he's using the premium ammo. It's a lot easier when you've got the premium ammo. Goes to the weak spot, gets it. The mouse didn't turn his turret away quickly enough, and he took that one right in a weak spot. Just the middle of the turret at the front. Oh, the guy almost raised his gun in salute and took a round right through the weak spot there, those shoulder bits, which is weaker armor. We'll show you that on the Tanks GG. Pumps around into the Object 263, who's a little further away, but he took some damage there as well. Trying to get his gun to get down. He goes to the cupola and he gets it. It was the commander's cupola he took out there. Okay, he's having to push over, and he's going for the T55, pumps around in, gets the high caliber off that one, potentially. Got 20% of the enemy hit pool. Doesn't necessarily mean you'll win it, but that's a hit. Another high roll, 621. He's really monstering this game. Absolutely fantastic game. Going for the cupola. Yeah, got the kill. Nicely done. He's really working hard on this one, but he's going to have to watch out where he's looking, because there are lots of enemy tanks who could damage him. Yep, gets that one into the commander's cupola for 451, which is the low roll. And unfortunately, the mouse is alongside him, isn't being... yeah, he's not being cooperative, and he took a round there for 568. He's down to half hit points. Yeah, that mouse driver is being a real nuisance. You know, he really does need to let Oxagon get on with it and just offer support when he needs to. But I guess most of the drivers of tier 10 heavy tanks tend to be alpha personalities. They tend to be those people who push and push and push and strive to win and they have to be the winners, but unfortunately sometimes it can cause problems. Well, they're losing by 2 tanks at the moment. Go to the rear of the turret. He's trying to pick his spot. Yep, he gets that one in, gets a high roll, but now he's facing another. And the lucky guy there, Cranborn, took out the AMX M4 who was angling to take a shot. They managed to claw back 1 tank, but they are still down. You can see a Heshbon off in the distance, up in the woods. But now he's got to face a few more. The 263, strong armor, but he punches it through, gets 594 back from his gun. Now he's about 1/3 of his hit points left. Doesn't have to worry too much to his left, but he has to worry about these guys in front of him. Pumps that one in, but doesn't get it through the cupola. In fact, he blocks the shot that comes back from the CC1 Mark II. You can see an AMX M4 off to his left now. Seems like he's trying to outflank us. So I think he's going to try and make his way around this corner. He's going to be right in front of us. Kill shot. Right into the weak spot. Okay, go after the 263 now, because he's not looking this way, but there's the CC. Oh, it's not. It's an M4. And he takes that guy out of the game. So he's now got 4 kills. He's now amassed just under 10k of damage. That's what alpha personalities tend to do. No, he didn't get that one in. He lost 579 off that, which now puts him as a 1-shot for the enemy. And now Arty's firing in. He got stunned. He's going to have to be careful now. Because he's a 1-shot, he could be taken out of the game. And the enemies, well, they're one up on the enemy at the moment, but he is vulnerable. So he has to be very careful about what happens next. There goes the 263. Arty finished him off. Unfortunately, that CC1 Mark II is still there, but he's only got a couple of hit points left, so I think we should be able to get a shot on him. Or at least if we don't, the Conway will. Only 5 hit points. And the CC1 Mark II kills our T95. That's not good. With only 5 hit points, he managed to get a kill out of one of our team members. The CC1 Mark II goes down to the Conway, so at least the Conway got him. But there's 3 enemies left. That Heshbon, who's up in the wood in the southwest corner of the map, and there's a Gorilla 15 up there as well. And the last one is the Skoda T50. Now he's already pumped a shell into that Skoda, and I'm pretty sure that Skoda will want some revenge. But he's got 10,000 hit points already, so I think he's well on for a high caliber. Now he's being very cautious not to come out of this corner, just in case he receives the Hesh round from the Heshbon. He's trying to tempt the guy to shoot him and hit the tracks, saying, look at me, shoot me in the tracks somewhere I can't be damaged, and then I'll know where you are. He stopped moving. I suspect that the Gorilla 15 and the Heshbon are in the same spot, and if he comes out of here trying to head north, the Heshbon's probably going to have a go at him. In fact, if he probably crosses this factory, the Heshbon might try and have a go at him. Now, seeing as where the Conway is at the moment, he might be able to spot the Heshbon if he comes out the woods. There's the Skoda. Okay, so we now know where the Skoda is. 50 TP's making a quick move, and so are we. We'll try and outflank him. The mouse is on low hit points. He's a 1-shot as well. The 50 TP, well, technically he's a 1-shot. This could still go wrong, even though we're 3 tanks ahead of the enemy. It has been turned all the way around, but the enemy is still on more hit points than we are. 4,507. And that's by virtue of the fact that they have 2 tank destroyers who are probably full health. In fact, as far as I can see, the Gorilla 15 does have full health, and so does the Heshbon. He's trying to spy the guy without knocking the factory doors down. He's not up to the gap yet. There's the gap. There's the end of the gap. Trying to get the guy to come forward. It might be more advantageous for him to go right to the other end of the factory and try and come around the corner and shoot him there, or side scrape on the corner. Uh-oh, the hash barn's been spotted and we've been spotted. Oh dear, the hash barn's moved. The convoy didn't see him, or conways I should say. The convoy just took a hit from the gorilla. I can tell that. I just saw his health counter go down. Okay, this is very dangerous, going around the corner with side armor, because you can bend the side armor even with a 15cm round. Our Arty will be doing his best to try and lay a few rounds down on that gorilla. Oh no! We just lost the 50 TP to the hedge farm, who fired through the door into the factory. Now we've managed to get across the gap here, but we're probably going to get spotted by the hedge farm unless he's moving. No, he's behind the factory now, so go to the end. Should be able to nail that Skoda. Oh no, now we might get spotted. The hedge farm, there he is. Yes, he does get a hit. 489, low roll. But it means that the hedge farm can probably see us, so he has to be very, very cautious, because one shot from the hedge farm could be enough to take us out of the game. Just one shot. Now he did back up a little uncarefully there, because he reversed his rear into full view of that gap, and if the hedge farm had moved, he might be able to get a shot. He's actually more conscious of the Skoda than he is of the hedge barn at the moment, because he thinks the hedge barn can't move, but he's very aware that any second the Skoda could suddenly appear and pump around into him, and there he is. He's in the north edge of the factory. Oh no, we've lost one of the conways and we've lost the mouse, and now obviously we are the last one alive on our team. He pumps around into the Skoda. I missed that. Should have watched it. Here we go. Oh, we were hitting the gun. He managed to get some damage back, but he's got a long reload. Will we be able to get another round into the hedge farm? Yes! 707, but the Skoda hits us in the rear. And then we get assaulted by the enemy, by the gorilla. Here's the end of battle stats. That was an ace tanker game for Oxagon in ENJ0Y of the AMX M4 54, the tank they built in 1954. Rather, that's when it was introduced, because obviously that's the year that they put on here. Anyway, he managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 7 in this game. He got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. In fact, he ended up with 4 exactly. And he also got a fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points for his own vehicle. A Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. And yes, he did pick up the high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game. But sadly, it just wasn't enough to win the game. And you'll see when you see the figure, you can probably see it right now on the page. 12,182 hit points of damage before I even switch over the page. But there you go. It is 12,182. A huge score to lose to. I mean, he really tried hard to carry his team on that one, but he just couldn't do enough. They had some fairly good tanks who were very well placed at the end of the game, and they just made it incredibly difficult for Oxagon to get those kills to win. I'm afraid it was down to the fact that he did lose damage to that 263, which he really needed to keep. But yes, he was just able to get those shots in, and so it's a loss. The next highest damage in the game actually went to the Object 263, the guy who perforated him too many times. He got 4,402. The second highest was the gorilla, who got 4,260, but he didn't get a penetration at the end because unfortunately it was the Skoda who'd already got the kill there, 2691 on him. In fact, the second best on his own team was the Object 268. In fact, that's the 268 version 4, the Bobject, who got 2,916. Not a huge amount compared to what Oxagon did, but it's still fairly good because that's 4th place on damage with the 263 and the Gorilla 15 getting ahead of him. The Heshbons between them didn't actually do much damage, but they were there at the wrong time of the game, and he was so threatened by these Heshbons that he was worried that he might get wiped out by them with just one shot from them. In fact, yes, 715 hit points for one and 395 for the other. I suspect they were hiding at the back of the map in the woods, waiting for everybody else to kill each other off, and then they could finish off whoever was remaining. And that's why their team actually had so many hit points left over. When it came to kills, yep, he's got the highest number, but he has to share it with the Gorilla 15 and the Skoda T50. All of them have 4 kills apiece. 3 kills went to the Contro Caro, and then 2 kills went to the Cranvan on his own team. And when it came to base XP, it's the enemy team who comes out on top. The Contro Caro Minotauro got 1,218. 1,195 went to the Skoda T50 and 1,157 went to the Object 263. These were the best players on the enemy team, all 3 of them getting over 1,000. But just look at this. Oxagon got the 4th highest base XP in that game because he really put his effort into it. And if you think about how much he would have got if he'd actually won the game, then he would have been way over these guys. He would have been up close to, well, what, half as much again. Possibly he would have been up near 1,300, 1,400 XP from that game alone. So disappointing that he didn't get the win, but I can totally understand it. Let's have a look at detail. 26 shots fired. Every shot hit the target, but only 23 of them penetrated, even though he was using premium ammo. So it just goes to show that this tank is very tough. It's very accurate if you've got a good player. And even when using premium rounds, he's not going to penetrate just every time, because some of the tanks he was firing at were the same type. They were the AMX M4 54, and yes, they are very difficult to pen unless you get the right spot. 12,182 hit points of damage, of which only 1,039 was at more than 300 meters. So the vast majority of the damage was up close and personal with the enemy. 8 hits received, only 5 of those penetrated, 3 non-penetrations and 2 hits by way of splash damage, 1,050 hit points of damage blocked by armor. 4 enemy vehicles spotted, 12 enemy vehicles damaged, 4 kills, so there's your Confederate, there's more than your Confederate, and 948 hit points of damage assistance. On a premium account, he earned 91,524 credits, 4,260 for the Achievements Award because he got an Epic Medal or a Battle Hero Medal in a losing or drawn game. In fact, he got 2 Battle Heroes in this one. 143,676 credits altogether, but after repair, ammunition, resupply, and consumables, and yes, it's the ammunition this time that really cost him because he was using premium rounds throughout, apart from the 2 HE rounds he carried in. 25,016 credits loss, but I don't think he'll be too worried about that. He put in a hell of an effort to win this one. 964 XP, 527 for the Achievements Award again, took away 2,237 experience points altogether. Wow, what a game that was. Now, let me show you the armor profile for this vehicle. This is the M454. As I said, designed 1954, that's the Milli 54-bit. It's very, very tough armor, but there's only really one noticeable weak spot, and it's the shoulders here. If you try to punch through here, you need the premium ammo to make it count. And if I show you the premium ammo there, and I put up the live model, you can see that it is tough, but it can be penned from the front. You can get through it there and down here because it has enough pen to get through. If you're at an angle though, it's dead easy to get through the shoulder parts, so that's what you've always got to look for. But looking at that front profile, it's a very, very tough tank from the front, and if you're not using premium rounds, well, yeah, it's basically it's a brick, not a brick wall, a steel wall, which is impossible to get through. You have got 2 cupolas. This is the gunner's cupola, that's the commander's one. You notice during the battle, he was aiming for the commander's cupola, because obviously it is the taller of the 2, and if you take that one out, you also screw up his vision range as well, and that's very helpful. But of course, if you want to stop him shooting so accurately, that's the one to go for. They're both fairly prominent. As you saw in the battle, Oxagon was having little difficulty pumping shells into these cupolas. But it's the side of an AMX M4 54 which is fairly easy to pen. Look at this, it's only 80mm at the sides, goes up to about 84 with the angling. The sides here, it's only effectively 85 going up to 90. So if you've got to keep your front to the enemy, really, basically. You don't want to angle too much because you then give them this free shot into here or the cupolas. And if you turn too far, then you're an easy kill for even standard rounds from this beast. So yes, it is fairly weak. If we show you the roof, you see the roof, and I go to the collision model, you can see, yeah, light armor all over the roof. The cupolas themselves, if I show them from the front, you can see that they do have a strengthening here, but and that goes up to 200mm there. But effectively it's only 200 because there's no angling. You can hear slightly below it, it's 100mm with 163. So no problem going through that. The rear of this vehicle, again, very easy to pen. Arty will go straight through the roof, no problem. So that's all the armor profile. I say try not to take on one of these from the front if you can. If you do have to do that, go for the premium ammo because you're going to need it. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the modules. If I bring that fully up. Okay, well, you can see Commander is on the back on the left-hand side, Gunner on the right side. They're the ones with the cupolas. The loader is actually further forward. Yes, he's actually right next door to the gun, feeding the guns into the breech. The ammo rack is directly behind him. There's also ammo racks deep down inside the tank. They're in the shoulders of the vehicle, so again, if you aim directly underneath the middle of the turret, you're going to hit an ammo rack. And other than that, you need to aim, well, it's just underneath where the gunner's cupola is if you want to get the ammo rack that's a bit further back in the hull. But you should be able to get through the sides to get them. Driver is on the right-hand side. The radio operator is on the left-hand side, or the driver's mate, you might say. And at the back of the vehicle, we've got the engine, and the fuel tank is directly behind. And as I said, the back of this vehicle is fairly easy to perforate, so you can get a fire. You can also get an engine damage, and there's the transmission right at the back. So that's where everything is. The Commander does have the radio right next door to him, so I'm not sure if this is the radio operator or the... there we go. Bring up the modules. Thank you very much. It is the radio operator. The radio's at the back of the vehicle and the radio operator's up front. Okay, well, that logic escapes me. If you enjoyed that replay, I certainly did. It was, even though it's a defeat, it was an honourable defeat by Oxagon, and he got an absolutely massive score. Congratulations on that. It was very much worth recording. If you like that replay, please give it a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And don't forget, we've got more battles with the AMX M4 Mini 54 coming up. So you want to stick around and watch some of them because some of them are just like this one. Really, really great games to watch. Thanks for watching.